Hello, I'm Tony Ko, the host of TalkIT. Redis, a leading company in in-memory, NoSQL databases, is not yet publicly listed, but its market valuation exceeds $2 billion. Why is that? In the era of an increasingly intelligent and accelerated digital economy, more and more user experiences will be delivered through AI chatbots, and personalized services will be provided in real time. I recently had a live talk with Bonghwan Kim, a solutions architect at Redis, and felt that Redis, an in-memory NoSQL DB, will play a crucial role as a key component in meeting these epical demands. Let's take a closer look at what that involves.
So many users are considering the requirement to build their own LLM that generates vector code embeddings for their clients. However, from the end user's perspective, in implementing the business, it doesn't matter whether the vector codes in their app come from their own LLM or from an LLM provided by OpenAI. Therefore, during transitional periods when it's possible to create an LLM, or even in environments that handle non-sensitive data, services like LLM as a service can be used to quickly build a GenAI app. This isn't just about displaying information on a screen. My service has been holding user information. Consider the user's conversation history, various data left through chatbots, and the document data created in contracts with users, all hypothetically stored in Redis. And embedding values obtained through the LLM are combined with existing documentary, DB values, and a new embedding request is made. The prompts become much richer.
Will become much more accurate. If you only use ChatGPT, there is the issue of hallucination. However, if a company mixes its own verified data with it, it can prevent hallucination in advance.
Yeah, that's correct. I suggest trying development based on Redis to move faster. Many commonly use RAG. You can quickly develop your company's AI solution with RAG, increase the company's recognition, and then prepare the LLM as the next step. And we have also brought the same logic on how RAG is developed. Here, you can see how Redis is used. Users throw prompts. If they are in the same group, the probability of asking the same question increases significantly. If every identical prompt results in a call to OpenAI, API costs will increase.
I heard that OpenAI API costs have increased by dozens of times recently.
So by storing these prompts, which we call a prompt cache, we can develop ways to reduce costs. Redis can be applied for caching these prompts. Also, if there's a need to enhance the context through a specific prompt, the part of the context that needs to be saved can be stored in a vector database.
Along with the data owned by the company.
That's correct. Furthermore, utilizing things like session stores for related conversation tracking can also be accommodated within Redis. This is why Redis is being extensively used in GenAI. And not long ago, Intel presented a RAG solution based on Redis at a keynote.
It seems like domestic companies will also have many such requests.
There have been several instances, and it seems there's a bit of concern according to users. Some people say they need to create an LLM, while others are satisfied with just RAG and are contemplating which vector DB to choose. There are user-based differences. Vector databases are still in their early stages, but in fact, from a search perspective, a vector is just a type of data. Exactly. It's just storing arrays of numeric values for dimensions, so the one that searches better is preferable, and as mentioned earlier, the faster one is better too. Take the case of the profile store, where user data or inventory data are stored in Redis either as hash or JSON types. This allows for rapid improvements. The architecture shown in the example is that of a credit card company. Credit card companies have specialized backend databases. By uploading frequently accessed datasets like result set to Redis, the user experience can be greatly enhanced.
The better we profile, the quicker we can provide personalized services like recommendations to users.
By using Redis, data can also be analyzed and recommendations can be made.
Which is particularly advantageous for financial service companies.
Yes, I mentioned it, credit card companies, but the same applies to gaming companies with item points. And for card companies, it's about miles, while for the various other forms like e-commerce.
The same goes for our TalkIT. When someone logs in who has mainly listened to IT infrastructure, it's better to recommend more of that area to them rather than suggesting manufacturing topics to someone interested in IT infra.
Yes, Shane, yes, it's an interesting discussion, though slightly off topic. But it's about gradually increasing the number of elements in a user's profile hash or expanding the type in JSON to create a document. If we generate a vector code from this document, a vector code represents coordinates. For example, in mathematical terms, if there's a pointer coordinates 1.1 on the XY axis. Now imagine a virtual scenario with coordinates in 512 dimensions resulting in 512 numeric elements. LLMs create these numbers, and if you use as a service, you can fetch them through platforms like OpenAI or Hugging Face. Once you have these coordinates, what happens between them is the measurement of distance. Redis has the capability to measure this distance, which lets us determine a similarity or dissimilarity. By measuring the distance, you can tell if something is the same or not. Thus, as user profiles and their vector values increase and are compared, you can determine if two people have very similar tendencies.
This naturally leads to grouping.
Exactly. In fact, machine learning and such have developed in this direction. This direction is currently being pursued, and if you apply the pattern I've mentioned to your application, it could inspire ideas for blind matching, such as when introducing people or during hiring, measuring manager types, employee types, or relationships between employees. So, in the case of data types like stock prices, real-time changes and flows necessitate a streaming cache form. Redis is being used predominantly for such cache forms. In such cases, user IDs or mobile device IDs serve as the basis for storing relevant data types, which can be quickly accessed when needed. Naturally, latency becomes a very critical aspect of such services.
Not only games and stock prices, but many devices are now autonomous. Autonomous driving requires real-time streaming as well. And it seems likely that these applications will increasingly use such technology in the future.
Among the reference architectures we are considering, if there are IoT devices, using Redis's open source version for IoT allows synchronization with the backend enterprise version. This real-time synchronization means that even if IoT equipment fails, data remains on the backend and can be used anytime for analysis or retransmission. This allows for the construction of such a reference architecture. At the same time, combining user profiles with attributes of drivers and cars allows for immediate analysis and advice. There are many applications for this technology. As I mentioned earlier, games use Redis extensively. For instance, domestic companies making games like Lineage also use it for purposes such as authentication. Redis is particularly unrivaled for creating leaderboards to determine who ranks first, second, etc. during gameplay. Additionally, Redis is used for storing item profiles or for personalizing user characters who use these items and for enabling network play between users. This network play is referred to as matchmaking. Redis is used for this purpose, among others, providing simple analytics internally, and as a simple data storage solution, it is being used extensively across many applications.
Lastly, your likes and subscriptions greatly empower us to continue creating content. Thank you for your support.